that's where families need to go to meet up with their loved one that lives here. Now I'm going to step out so we can get another look at this fire. As you can see, crews still actively working this. I mean, it's been almost 3 hours and flames still going, still blazing non-stop. Give us this flyer with pictures. You can see the suspect right here, and they say that he left in that black 4-door sedan. Now they aren't sure the exact make and model at this time. I did speak to the man who does work inside of this gas station. Now he said he didn't see anything, but he did say that the robbery happened out here and not actually inside of the store. So that's a little bit of information I was able to piece together while I was out here. Of roofs, doors, wood, just a lot of debris. You can see even right here, there's a carport that completely collapsed. So obviously it hit Aiken pretty hard. And in 10 minutes, a car can heat up and up to 19 degrees. In just 20 minutes, that goes up 10 more to 29 degrees. And 30 minutes goes up another 5 degrees at 34. It's $2.15 a gallon to fill up your tank. Now it's going to cost you about $26 to fill it up this morning, which is just really only 20 cents more than it cost you last week when it was $2.13 a gallon. Now that number is still lower than it was a month ago when it cost you $2.34 a gallon. So this morning you are saving $3 than you were just a month ago. But when it comes to gas, every cent does matter, and people do get worried about when these gas prices go up. But you are still saving some money than you were this time last year, because last year that average was $3.29 a gallon. So really you're saving about $10 every time you go to fill up, because last year when you went to fill up your tank, it cost you about $40. Now if you filled up your tank once a week, that was about $100 a month. We still don't know who those other 8 victims are, but that shooting happened right at this church a little bit ways behind me, a few blocks down this road. Now police are still searching for that shooter. When it comes to kids walking to school, a lot of you posted on our Facebook page, and some said that especially elementary school students should not be walking. See around this area, it is already barricaded off around the State House for safety. There are deputies already here patrolling the area, and the city is also putting a ordinance in place not allowing weapons within 250 feet of State House grounds indefinitely. This flag that's been flying here for 15 years, that's at the center of this controversy. And Governor Nikki Haley, Charleston Mayor Joe Riley, and other lawmakers say it's time to come down. It's a taste of Hollywood out here with these lights and this movie set. But right here inside this church, they're filming some pivotal scenes, and it can mean a big turning point for Augusta. Out here on Washington Road, some cars are already starting to go by early this morning. Now, Washington Road is known for having a tremendous amount of traffic, especially during those morning commute times. But before you hit the panic button, I spoke with an expert who says to stay calm and that you can weather the storm. Just here in Richmond County Schools have actually just opened their doors so kids can come inside so they don't have to wait outside in the cold. So it seems pretty clear right now, and we have seen some cars already on their way to work. So what should people know when they're getting ready to leave this morning? Police arrived on scene. There were flames and something a little more disturbing. Officials say a white male was lying on this road, partially clothed, saying he killed his mother. Pieces of rubble this size and up to 5 feet larger are going from this bridge and into these waters, which will create somewhat of a reef and bring a lot more bigger fish into this lake. Burke County investigators say they found 10 dogs on his property, 6 of them dead and 4 in serious condition. A man was able to break into this home by stepping onto these cinder blocks, taking this entire window out, and then climbing inside. Well, Danielle, some cars just kind of flew by a little bit out here, and this is actually one of those areas that gets a lot of traffic, and there's a little bit of construction going on. There's a road work area right along this way. Time to commit to the G. Now, I'm out here right here at Sanford Stadium. Now, one of my favorite parts about UGA games is at the very beginning when the trumpet plays right up here at the stadium. And PTR Industries makes about 40 different rifles like this one here, and they're looking down the barrel hoping to bring more to South Carolina than a good shot.
Officers turn on their body camera before they get out of the car.
And once they get to you, it's still rolling, and they don't turn it off until the call is completed. Call the dogs with me real quick.
I will.
All right, so ready? Go
dogs!
Sick 'em!
In the morning light, the reality of 9 lives lost at this church sinks in as people from all walks of life and faith come to pray, lay flowers, and pay their respects.
It's a place where we all go to go ahead and better ourselves. Evil is going to find every place that it can.
Matthew Spears is a minister in Baltimore, the only white member in an all-black church. And despite a heinous hate crime, he prays for the man who wreaked havoc in the holy city.
I pray for him. I pray that he'll find peace in his heart and he'll repent with a sincere heart.
A community comes together on a national and global scale, and as people cross the crime tape, they're crossing racial and social lines.
God does not make mistakes. He doesn't make one race or one culture or anything better than the other. It's our hearts.
A city and church stand strong, doing one of the hardest things after so much hurt.
In your hearts, learn to forgive, because God sees sin as sin, wrong is wrong. It makes no difference. We see sin and wrong with levels. God sees it as wrong or right.
No matter what side of the fence you're on, after more than 50 years, the Confederate flag will be coming down from the South Carolina State House. I spoke with Reverend Jesse Jackson, who's been fighting for civil rights and has been waiting for this day in his home state. A flag that once flew on a battlefield represents heritage for some, and others it's a symbol of hate. And now it's the center of a different battleground.
Our future of growth is locked into making the decision to move from racial battleground to economic common ground to moral higher ground.
In high school, Reverend Jesse Jackson says he wasn't allowed to take a picture in front of the South Carolina State Capitol. But today, while he's there waiting to watch the flag come down, it's a different story.
We're learning to live together. That's our future.
Reverend Jackson still trying to heal after the 9 people killed in the Charleston shooting. One of them, his close friend, Senator Pinckney. He says he's thankful for how the governor responded, and now they're moving in the direction to be united not as one state, but as one country.
And now to see us making some decisive moves toward coexistence as opposed to co-annihilation is just a good deal. I'm excited. I want to see that flag come out. One America, one flag, one nation, liberty and justice indivisible for all.
Lawmakers will be voting tomorrow morning on whether to put the flag in the relic room. And if they decide to do that, that has to be installed by January. But either way, the Confederate flag's days out here on the State House are numbered, and big changes coming to the Palmetto State. In Columbia, Julie Calhoun, News 12. September 20th, the day Park and Tammy Kingery decided to officially become a couple. Fast forward 20 years, that's the same day she went missing. And Park says it's a day that will haunt him forever. I sat down with him as he's talking about the reality of his wife's disappearance setting in, as well as the harsh realities of daily life as the family tries to cope. It's from this home a year ago that Tammy Kingery went missing. Investigators say Tammy didn't feel well at work and was picked up by her husband that morning. She got into bed and her husband took their sons and ran some errands. But when he got back, the only sign of Tammy was a note.
It said, going for a walk, be back soon, love you. That was it.
There was no sign, everything was here. She didn't take her purse, her phone, her money, her credit cards, nothing. And she didn't take her car. Her car was still left at work. So we just couldn't figure, how do you just vanish like that?
What happened after that? The big mystery. Both Park and Tammy's mother, Carolyn, say her leaving a note and walking in the heavily wooded area around their home was out of character. Both believe something bad happened, but both also have differing opinions on that day.
Something you just can't figure out in your mind what could have happened. And I've always thought, well, maybe somebody got in the house and just took her.
You know, unfortunately, she developed a depression, and I think that's part what led to her leaving.
But the day quickly turned to night, to a week, a month, and here we are today, still no answers.
And, you know, since day one, it's really been the same. We don't know. And it's so frustrating, and it's a nightmare because all these different scenarios run through your head.
While the search for Tammy continued with no clues, SLED agents combed through her phone records and had questions of their own.
Being the spouse, I'm the #1 suspect, and yet they went ahead and put me through the full interrogation. That was not fun. And a lot of online attacks. which I, don't read. People are going to think what they think and have their own theories.
Despite some negativity, the community came out to search for the missing mom.
So, I mean, the community's been really, really good. And I'm very thankful for that.
Today, things aren't as frantic as a year ago, but now it's an adjustment to life as a single parent, 2 kids now in high school, 1 in kindergarten, and going from a 2-income household to 1.
I had to file bankruptcy. I mean, I fought it as long as I could until the point it's like, I can't do it no more.
Now at 41 years old, Park says he's looking for a second job, may have to sell the house and move back in with his parents. And that reward for Tammy no longer exists.
I'm out of money. I mean, that's the reality of it. I had the money. I saved the money as long as I could. I wish I could have put out more, but it's gone now. I mean, that was my money, and I actually took that out of a retirement account.
Park says all he can do now is try to hold the family together. Tammy's disappearance is something they don't really talk about. Instead, they stay busy. He says he's proud of how strong his children are, but can't help but worry.
I still just can't really imagine what they emotionally and psychologically are going through.
Pictures of her still in the house, but as the days go by and the realization that no one may ever know what happened to Tammy, her family says those images makes things harder.
But it's still there it's almost every waking hour. I don't know how to get it out of my mind. I really need a finish to this loss.
Are you hopeful that you will get one?
Not right now, I'm not.
And if she does come home, this light is always on.
The 1 year is Sunday. Park says he doesn't know how he's going to handle that day when it comes. The family says they hope speaking out will spark a break in the case, and they want to see more searches. I spoke with the Edgefield County Sheriff's Office, and they say the case is still open and active. They do get tips from time to time, but nothing recently. The family asking if you know anything, no matter how small, to reach out to the Edgefield County Sheriff's Office.